thought I'd talk about a couple of different things that I'm noticing over the last week with people being back out in civilization, not such a recluse, more involved, people are losing it. Even very mentally solid people are feeling pressures beyond just thoughts, rising and falling, busy. Friends of mine that are business owners are just struggling more than one. Cue the sirens. It's emergency. And some really take to my videos, and that's wonderful. And they're friends of mine, they are reducing their overhead. They're getting rid of it's perfect, the dog, you hear it? It's this weird energy. Everybody thinks they got it nailed. The spiritual people think they got it nailed. Astrologists, the solar flares, government, pressures, fight between the left and right. The way business is done today, or the lack of. I've got friends in the auto business, and so over 3 million repossessions going on before the end of the year. So things are changing, and I want to talk about the economy, the left, the right. I want to talk about the space between everything. The present moment, like I'm looking at my hand, here it is. And by the way, it's a very easy way to not feel the anxiety of your thoughts and the concerns and planning the future and keeping up with things and following up on things and the collective responsibility in business today, scheduled things not coming together, and just this system just working against everybody, trying to take care of business, take care of their families. But just the last 3 days, 2 business owners got together, both brothers, and they haven't talked in a while. They're in different businesses, and they had a talk today, and one brother said to the other, "Are you feeling the pressure of everything and how things are working?" And the other brother said, "Yeah, I am." And the one had said, "Oh, good. God, I want to know I'm not the only one." So it's good to know, because he said, I think I'm losing my mind. So I want to take a moment and kind of talk about this and what works for me. I don't know if it works for you. I'm not sitting here to trying to be a teacher or anything, but you are talking to a guy that spent all his money and is sitting on very little money now at 59 years old, and had the courage to explore life, to look at it like an adventure. There's a lot of men my age in particular that they're just vicing down on everything and take any chances, and they're afraid. And so a lot of people are just waking up, going through the motions, going home, eating, staring at our phones, watching Netflix, and going to bed and getting up and hoping one day Santa Claus will come down the chimney and surprise them with all these gifts. And here we go. I took a different route, and spent money until I got bored of spending money. Doesn't matter what you buy. It's exciting. Gets old very quickly. And I'm on the other side of that. Sort of. I still have my spending habits, but I don't have the funds to do what I've been doing. This constant hunting and foraging for money to maintain what you have, and hopes to get more, and hopes to go on vacation. And I'm going to tell you, when this world is like piling up on you, and the stresses and the pressures, just stop. It's so simple. And you won't do it. Most won't. It's so simple. And just try it. Because it's annoying to anybody that's expecting some grandiose something to hit them. I've been guilty of it too. And the simple solution to that is just stop thinking and just look at what's in front of you. Like, just stop. I'm looking at my motorcycle, which the tripod is sitting on. Now, first thought that came to my mind was, I can't believe it hasn't sold yet. It's been for sale for 2 weeks. And then the better side of me is like, you know you're not in control. And I'm looking at my bike again, and I'm here. That's all you have to do. Is stop. Get all your senses involved. Listen to the sounds. Breathe in that very crisp. It's going to be a chilly night. Watch the steam come out of my mouth. Setting the ambiance. I like this. The lighting. Little things are exciting me. Like, I packed up my motorcycle 9 months ago. Everything else is in storage in Arizona. I only brought so many clothes. You can't bring your wardrobe. And I've got a ton of clothes. And so I brought, shorts, like 3 pair of pants, so much underwear, so many socks, and some lightweight coats and t-shirts. And so now that it's been cold and rainy, I haven't had my clothing. And I can either go buy more and just add up to my pile. But hey, my sister got into my storage unit in Arizona and shipped me some clothes. So I was like opening it up and going, oh yeah, I love this red shirt. And it's super warm, and wool is the best thing in the world for moist air. It just retains its heat. I've got more jeans now, warmer clothes, some more coats, like winter coats. And that's exciting to me now. It's funny. Another exciting thing for me, the RV had a small leak, which has turned out to be a bigger issue than I thought. Since I've been here, which is almost a month, this is the most level the coach has sat. Everywhere else I've been with it over the last 4 months, it hasn't been completely level, so there's always this runoff of water when it rains. And so I didn't really see any leakage until here, and the roof is completely flat. There's no arch. And so I discovered a leak that has been existing long before I took ownership of it. And, look into the prices that what it takes to repair it. I basically have to put this in the shop, under covering, and taking 3 weeks to 2 months, to fix something like this because they're backed up. And $5,000, $10,000, $12,000. So I bought a roof cover, RV cover. Fits perfectly. It's been raining the last few days since I put it up. And the leaks are gone. And there's actually less, it feels less moist in the RV. So that excited me. The Gather bar that we're putting together is coming together. We got more pieces in today. We found more stuff, and it's very exciting to get everything put together and get it looking cool and getting ready. We've got 2 weeks till soft open. That's exciting. it's connected to friends for possible venture, business ventures together, which I believe are a great match. Actually, all three of us. These are friends of mine that have the same integrity, and they're not impressed with money. They're just, it doesn't, they've got money and they own businesses, and it just, honor, pride versus greed. The things that a lot of people do in business, these two gentlemen aren't that way, so it was good to connect them together, and there's something coming together. I don't know what it is completely, but I feel good at that, or with that. That's one thing I'm really good at, is networking. I just have a natural ability. That's my autistic talent, is to connect people, and have this weird ability to hook up with people that are somebody, I guess you could say celebrities and stuff like that. I know what it takes to bring them into my life if I need to. A gift of gab, all that kind of stuff. So we've got some great ideas coming up for the Gather, in Dallas, Oregon. And it feels good to work, but not only work, but to do something I'm actually enjoying. And to help people just kind of just step back. Seriously, you're stressing about all this stuff. First of all, you're not alone. A lot of people are. A lot of people aren't talking about it. And we can come up to all sorts of conclusions of why, we're looking at our phone. We're all part of a psyops that's going on right now. It's definitely a psyops going on by using the internet and social media. It's a horrible addiction we have, scrolling through our phones for hours a day. And there are some benefits to it. I try to focus on that, but just stop and just look here. Touch your face if you need to. Just, hello, come back. Hey, welcome back. How you been? And it just sounds stupid or like it wouldn't work, but just try it. When things are going crazy, just, your mind's racing in the morning, racing in the afternoon. Just stop and realize you're not as in control as much as you think you are. So what is? Well, I'll leave that up to you to discover. But if you get out of your own way, and all this control you try to have, we try to have, you'll see the opportunities, For example, yesterday we bought a couple of big plants, so I borrowed the Fuso truck, this cargo truck, cool truck, and drove, 40 miles to pick up these big 6-foot, really beautiful plants. One of them, the other one's smaller. And when I was there, they asked me if I wanted these braces for the back of the cargo truck, like these metal braces that ratchet tight and hold stuff in. And I was like, yeah, cool. You can just have 2 of them. How random is that? How weird of something to be gifted to you. And then I went and I drove an hour into Portland, Oregon, and bought a brand new, huge commercial refrigerator with glass doors. Very big, very awkward. It was too tall for the Fuso truck, so we had to lay it on the side, the right side. You don't typically do this, or try not to do this with a refrigeration system of any type, but so now it'll sit up for 24, maybe 48 hours, actually multiple days. And so those brace bars that were given to me were absolutely needed, like big time, to hold the doors I had to take out and hold them up. And, I had my straps and everything, but those braces, it's like, how amazing when you get out of your own way. Who would have ever thought? It made my job of loading and packing everything securely in the back of the truck for an hour ride back to Dallas, Oregon, so much easier. How random. And that happens more and more often to me because I'm not in tunnel vision. I don't have my blinders on. Don't bother me. This is what I gotta do. Yeah. So we have more power than that. The universe has more power than that. This whole channel is about being random, spontaneity, being spontaneous on the motorcycle. If you watch some of my episodes, you'll see that halfway through the video I have this plan to go somewhere, and the other half I'm going completely the other direction, and that carries on to the next episode. Where I was going to stay at this meditation retreat up in Washington and stay up here for 7 days, and I got up there and took a 3-hour nap, and next part of the video I'm leaving and going somewhere else. Searching for the truth of, is it true if you're less bound down, vice gripping and everything. I gotta stick to my routine. No wonder why people have tempers, because there's randomness going on regardless of everything you're trying to build a routine. Get up at this time, eat breakfast at this time, shave at this time, shower at this time, be in the car at this time. Doesn't work as easy today as it did back in the Industrial Revolution. We are out of that. Got a nasty cold 5 days ago. Didn't catch a fever in that for one day. I'm still kind of plugged up and congested, but we built up some antibodies for this season. Got that out of the way. That's positive, isn't it? It was cold. A cold bid. Everything's COVID. Yeah. So that's the first part of this video. Really, just chill. You're just, oh my god. Just stop and look at what's in front of you. It doesn't have to be beautiful. It doesn't have to be waterfalls. It could be the tree just sitting there, a beautiful autumn tree. Just, you had the ability to stop letting your mind run constantly. Yes. It may only last a few seconds, maybe a few minutes. Stop and pay attention to what's going on. Read the sticker, you can't see the camera. It says, it's my FOY, F-O-Y, which means it's my fountain of youth. That was supposed to be for the motorcycle. Second part of this, I want to talk about some things that I've never told anybody. I don't think so. How I tick, strange things I do. That I just don't talk about. And there's one thing I do that I will never talk about because I feel like it would jinx it, and I think it would. And that has to do with my understanding of epigenetics, the power of your mind. You're not at the mercy of your biology. That's old science. Epigenetics, it's spelled EPIGENETICS. Is that right? Genetics. Yeah. Just EPI genetics. One word. Validated science. We all know thoughts create things. We all know how the placebo effect works. Not many people are familiar with the reverse of placebo, which is nocebo. If you focus on sickness and death, you start believing it. Well, guess what you're doing? The placebo effect's the same way. Over 80% of antidepressant pills. Was it 80 or 30%? I can't remember. But Dr. Bruce Lipton talks about it. Or placebo. The fact that a doctor with his degree and his education and wearing his outfit saying, "Doctor, prescribing you a pill," it's pretty much a sugar tablet. You believe in what the doctor's giving you is working, when in reality it isn't. And so I don't think people are supposed to be sick. I think subconsciously we want to be sick sometimes, to take a break, feeling lack of love, attention. I think we can take more than what has been deprogrammed in us. I've never taken an antibiotic in my life. I've never taken a flu shot in my life. I did a couple of things on my own. I ignore things, and the doctors will say, "Don't do that, don't ignore it." And it's, if there's something, like a YouTuber I'm watching had a vertigo experience, so they went to the hospital. I had it before, like vertigo. But he went straight to the hospital because it's very frightening. He said my vision was getting blurry, everything was spinning, and then all of a sudden I had pain in my chest. And I've had that before myself. And I'm like, well, if you're new to vertigo, which pretty much comes from stress, and stress is the delusional state, it's a natural trigger in your body and mind saying you are now delusional. It's supposed to wake you up. So when it happens, and everything's just lights are strobing, and all of a sudden you feel this pain in your chest and your arm, that's when shock kicks in, fear kicks in, and then it's a trap. It's this whole thing that changes your rhythm, and the hard thing can become true. I had vertigo for 3 weeks, and everybody said, "Go to the doctor." I couldn't even drive, I couldn't work. This is just before I left and packed up my motorcycle in 2019 to go travel the world. And I fell back into a business that I've been in and out of for 27 years. And I ended up in Bliss, Arizona to do the same type of business. And I was working out in the same neighborhoods, doing what I was doing in 1994. And it was so weird. It was everything in my body said, "You have just made 1,000 steps backwards," because you're afraid to do what you know in your heart you need to do to move forward if you're really up for the adventure in life. And that fear or that disappointment, the feeling of making 1,000 steps backwards, my body spoke for me. Because there was pressure, stress, disappointment, all these different feelings, and it came in the form of vertigo. And it was literally when I pulled into Mesa, Arizona after a long drive from Oregon. I got to this intersection, and the first time ever I had this tremendous vertigo. Literally everything was going like this, and I had to stop in the middle of the road. I couldn't see. I was like, "Oh, shit, what the hell?" And, all of a sudden I'm feeling the chest tightening up. It's making it spin more. I'm like, what the heck is going on? Oh my God. Just for a few seconds. I'm like, okay, come on, clear up. And I cleared up, and I drove a little further, and it happened again and again. Finally got to my destination, met with a friend. I was staying there for a while, starting a new old business like what I used to do. And couldn't shake it for 3 weeks. And my friend would drive me to work, out to an appointment. And then I would do my presentation, and I'm spinning, and I'm telling the people, just bear with me. I'm having vertigo the last 3 weeks. And of course, everybody's, "Oh, you need to go to a doctor." And I'm on YouTube researching stuff, and get down, turn your head this way, all these techniques and everything. But I knew inside, I knew what I needed. I knew the answer. I knew what I needed to do. It was a hard decision. It wasn't practical. It wasn't rational. But I couldn't shake this thing. And I kept fighting it, man up. Everybody said, go to the doctor. This is crazy. This could be serious. I'm like, no. Inside, I'm like, I know what it is. I actually sold a couple of the machines that I was selling, which put my accounts in the plus. Like, I'm glad I fought this. And sold out of inventory. I just had 2 of these machines that sell for thousands of dollars, and sold them. My accounts replenished, and I've got time to go. Okay, now go chill, just chill. And so it was like a Friday, work's over, and drove up and saw a friend of mine up in Sedona, Arizona, to have a little bit of a spiritual talk. Spiritual mama. And hung in her beautiful environment and had Reiki done, which, anyways, I've got my opinions on that. And I got a call from both customers, and they both canceled. And in my business, if you sell something in a residential area, anything over $25, you have 3 days to change your mind and refund all their money. And both customers called, which is rare. Like, I would get these cancellations maybe 4 times a year. It was a good product. People wanted to keep it. And and I was like, well, I'll be damned. That's how it works. So I didn't stay the whole week. I went down and went to these my 2 customers and picked up the machines, try to save them, try to drop the price, all this stuff. Not gonna work that way. Vertigo's still there. So I'm gonna take a shower, having to grab the curtain rack. Just pissed now. I'm pissed. I refuse to go to a doctor. This is the part I don't talk about, how often I've gone to the doctor. Blow your mind. I believe we're designed to heal ourselves. I believe we're not supposed to take painkillers. I believe the pain is important. It actually heals it quicker. It helps you focus. And believe me, I've had my pains and my toothaches that last for days. Touch the side of your face. It's unbelievable. Screaming pain. For multiple days where you're sweating. Go to the doctor. If it's not a laceration, it needs stitches, which I've sewed up like 3 stitches in my leg once. Did that out in the field, out in the wilderness. It's not as hard to do as you think. And broken bones, you got to go to a doctor and have them set that. So, but I picked up the machines, and I just couldn't get myself out of this. I know I can't do this. So what was my option? I just bought a pre-owned BMW. It was only a 2-year-old car, certified BMW. Like 7 months before. I'm not behind on payments. I've got my 2 credit cards and a couple other cards. And everything's close to maxed out. I'm not behind on the car. But I had no cash at this point. What was screaming inside of me was, go back to Oregon, get rid of the BMW, pack up your motorcycle, and go travel the world. What? I don't have the money for this. And I got to thinking, I said, you're 52 years old, you have no kids, you don't have a family. If you don't do it now, you never will. And, it's a fear. $240 to me, honestly. And And all of a sudden the adventure became more exhilarating than doing the logical thing, go to work, blah, 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 blah. You know, well, just go back to work or wait until you have this much and then go do it. That never worked that way for me. For me, never worked that way. I can tell you story after story. I just need 10 grand more and then I'm going to go do this for 6 months. And then the dominoes. Yeah, like that sound effect. Should have both mics for stereo. So that's what I did. I told my friend I can't do this. I'm sorry. What are you going to do? So I'm going to go back to Oregon, go to my brother's house, do a voluntary repossession on my BMW. And that's exactly what I did. Called up the finance company. Wasn't even behind. Come pick up the car. It'll be parked right here in the cul-de-sac. My brother's house. Got up the credit cards, shredded them, and I literally had $240 cash. That's how sick and tired of being sick and tired I was. But you know what's interesting? As soon as I made up my mind, packed the car up and drove and left Mesa, Arizona, heading back north through Nevada. As soon as I left, the vertigo was gone. Completely gone. Isn't that amazing? And I knew it. I just knew it. That was the message. And your body is giving you messages. We just all have been trained for years and years and years to not listen to it. There's something very kind that's there to guide you, protect you. Some people call it a guardian angel, wonderful. I'm not saying there is or isn't. I knew that's what it was. I got all the way up to Oregon. I told my brother, hey, I'm going to stay here until I get my bike. I had it stored in his garage, packed up. And I came and picked up my BMW. I packed up, this was like March. I packed up my motorcycle with clothes and $240. And next morning I got up and I was going to head to San Francisco to see Carol. I haven't seen this friend in 2 years. And she's kind of in the same predicament, except for she's living in her mom's pretty much abandoned home downtown San Francisco, like right next to Goliath. This place is worth a lot of money, but it's been neglected for years. And she's been hanging out there doing like Uber Eats type thing. And she's an executive for the movie industry for Universal Studios and Disney. You know, she came from that world and got fried on that lifestyle, you know, years before this. And I remember I packed up my bike and got to San Juan Pass, one of the mountain passes from Bend, Oregon. That's where I dropped the car off and got my bike. I'm going over the mountains, and it's already, I got a late start, and it's cold, and it's slushing. There's actually snow on the side of the road. I didn't have a tent. I actually didn't pack a tent or a sleeping bag. So I rode. I wasn't going to take the highway from Bend, Oregon to San Francisco. You know, all highways, I-5, you know, stuff like that. It was, I think, about 6 hours quicker than me going from Bend to the Oregon coast, Lincoln City, and then taking 101 all the way to San Francisco. It's like 12, 13, 14, 15 hour ride. So I rode all the way to Florence. I can't remember. Was it flat? Anyways, doesn't matter. And I'm on Highway 101, and it is windy, rainy, like slushy, cold, horrible weather. And so I found a cheap motel. So I just need a hot shower. I need to reevaluate things. And by the time I ate, gassed up, and paid the motel, I had like $78. I can't remember, like hardly anything left. And still had a 12-hour drive to San Francisco. And The next morning I got up and I'm like, oh my God, what happens if I break down? I can't call relatives, to help me. I can't put that under their, they've got their own concerns in life. There's nobody I can call to, if there's some emergency that I have, like my bike breaks down, what am I going to do? Beg people? Like become this homeless guy on a bike? So I left that morning. It's just pouring out. It's so cold, and I don't really have the right gear. This is before my DR got all modified. I actually made ammo cans, panniers out of these 20-pound ammunition cans. And I had probably 80 pound of gear on that bike, plus me. This is before the subframe was welded. This is that much weight. If you ride in the dirt, you're going to bend or crack or break the A-frame on these things. And I had not the greatest traction tires for pavement and water and slush. And I'm going down Highway 101, and I'm riding in a river, and the trucks are coming. This is like 2-lane sections, and I'm just getting hit with tremendous amount of water and slush in my windshield. I'm having to reach up in front and try to brush it off, and I'm freezing now. And motocross boots are not waterproof, and I'm freezing. And I'm going, what the hell have you done? Oh my God, you're crazy! What have you done? What if the bike breaks? You don't have money to stay in a motel if you want to get to San Francisco. What are you gonna do? So I stopped at this little convenient type store, and just kind of regrouped, got water, got a hot coffee, went outside, did this, drank a hot coffee, and I'm just like, what have you done? You're 52 years old, dude. And I remember this voice inside of me was like, shut the f up. Shut up. You're totally missing the point. The adventure. And it was strong, And so I said, okay, I'm going to make a beeline to San Francisco, to my friend's house. And something happened. It's just the way it is. I found out the tires had better traction than I thought on these corners, the rain and the water, and it rained the entire way. The slush. And I never got cold. My feet weren't cold. It was like this heater turned on. And I just got into this mode. I was totally present. Because you have to be. And I'm just focused. Slush hits the windshield, reach up and push it away. Figured out how to position my screen on my helmet and crack it. Then I had clear glasses underneath, and if you cracked it just right, the rain would hit it just right, and it wouldn't fog up. And my hands weren't cold. Nothing was cold. And then I'm in Gold Gate Bridge, and I'm like 7 miles from her house. And it's dark now. It's wet. And, you got all these car lights, and starburst effects going on all around you. You have to really pay attention. With all the cars doing 110,000 miles an hour. And I'm just like this. I'm not afraid. I'm just focused. Then I got on the bridge. That could be tricky, believe it or not, if you have the knobby tires I had, the little metal grades. There's always a wind, and this fog, and it was dark and rainy. And once you get on a certain part of the bridge, it could be a nasty wind, and and then you get this metal grade, and you can feel the knobbies kind of grabbing it, and I just loosened up. Realized my skill level, being raised on motorcycles. And I finally got to her house. I text her. I'm 2 minutes away. I got to her house, and the garage was open, and I pulled it in the garage. And I got off the bike and she's like, "Oh my God, look at your hands." And it was literally like this, and it wasn't that it was cold. It was just so much focus and like fearless. And I felt so exhilarated. I didn't know I was capable of that. And it could have been even worse. I just had this whole paradigm shift of awareness and consciousness and focus and being present. And I loved hours of being here, really needing to be. And I felt so good. And she was all concerned. I'm like, no, this is freaking awesome. And she, took my bags upstairs and, into the house. And I'm just doing this for, I'm just laughing. And she goes, "Oh my God, you're like, that was a different person than she's ever seen before. She's like the Terminator right now." It's fearless. And felt so good about that. And realized how we take advantage of, the comforts of a hot shower, a nice, hearty, warm meal, the smell of the candles, the incense in her spiritual home. It really showed me something. And that's what made me love adventure motorcycling, are those moments, is that experience. I'm up for the storm. This is things about me that nobody really knows, I lived in Fort Collins, Colorado. There's tornadoes there, there are, and I would run down in my car and go chase it, and it's really willing to fully live, and not extreme sport dangerous, not maybe I was a little bit more back then, but I believe we can heal ourselves. I believe cancer, the root of cancer, comes from guilt and regret. Everybody that I've known have had cancer and died of cancer, they would always say things like, "I wish I would have, maybe I should have never, shoulda, woulda, coulda." Guilt. We can all sit there and something from our past will pop up and we'll just go, "Oh my God, did I do? Oh my God, I can't believe I did that. God." And you gotta let it go. We're not here to live with guilt and regret. You have to forgive yourself. And there's some NPCs out there in this world. That's all they do, is they want to punish you. There's a certain mentality that they don't forgive. And amazingly enough, a lot of these people are running our legal system. They just want to make sure we get it. And but as you loosen up on all this stuff, and we all know, it's funny, we all know the secret is just be here. That's it. Just hi, hey, hi, how you doing? Hey, hi, what's up? I'm here. I'm looking at. There's a lens somewhere on my phone. I'm not even looking at you. I'm looking at me and with this light on the cold. My neighbor can hear me. And see how humorous life is. Just like animals. The year I spent up in the mountains and did my meditation thing, I just saw how animals are constantly pranking each other. It's like never ending. It's like, for us, it would be like, okay, enough. Stop it. that's what they're doing. They're eating and playing. And as they get older, they sleep more, and they're not so entertained with playing anymore. And that's another belief I have. That's mine. Maybe you don't know about. I believe when you stop playing and seeing this gift called life, that's when you start getting the gray hairs. That's when you start aging. That's when you start becoming less interested in life. And then other people will say, you're wiser and older, and I admire you for not being impressed anymore. And that's things like money and, success and winning and stuff like that. I'm talking little stuff, like getting a box of clothes today. I never thought I'd reach that point because I was one of those money-motivated people most of my life, and the seminar business and doing seminars myself and success attitude. I was always on the fence between success, money, wealth, power, ego, and spiritual, go live in the mountains, become a yogi. I was always on that razor's edge, and I would fall on one side and go all the way, and then that would do things that are never in your favor, and then I would become all spiritual. Hung out with the hippie doo-doos, the tree, la la la, this is the dawning, whatever. And I got into that, and then you'd see some truths, and all these people, that are into that, they have horrible tempers, and then it gets way out there, it's like, okay, I don't think I want to go that far. I need to, have one foot on the ground, one in the sky, the middle ground, right? I'd follow the money side. Screw that, I'm sick of this, and they're all broke anyways and dumb, and they got bad tempers, and I'm going to go back and make some money. This has been my whole life thing. And in the hopes of reaching where I'm at now, which is just more and more so here, with a smile on my face, even when I'm sick. Isn't this amazing? It's an opportunity. Everything is an opportunity to discover or remember something about you. Every trigger, every sickness. And, what's another thing? I think of one more thing about me that nobody knows about. Most nobody. I don't mourn the same way people do. I've seen enough death from loved ones, parents, relatives, two brothers, friends, up close and personal, last breath stuff. All that ugly, gooey, ooey. They're gone, wake up the next day, and feel that, oh my gosh, things have sure changed. When you get to a certain age, more and more of them will go, and now, Christmas is never going to be the way it used to be unless you have your own family, which I don't. I've never felt lonely. People don't believe that when I tell them that. I've never felt lonely. And people that feel lonely will never ask me, can you show me what you're thinking and what you do that you've never felt lonely? And I'll say, well, first of all, I've missed people, but I've never felt lonely. I don't know, maybe it's a gift. I don't know what to tell you. Nobody's challenged me enough and asked me enough, like they're embarrassed or something, ashamed or something, or they just don't believe me. They don't think it's possible to not feel lonely. I've had people say, you stopped dating 21 years ago, you're just going to be a lonely old man. I'm like, no. I've never felt lonely. What is it that I'm feeling that keeps me from, feeling the sensation of lonely? I don't think this is that serious. I really don't. And actually, the more time I am alone, the less drama there is, the less people that aren't on the same frequency are pulling you to explain yourself. That's something I stopped doing. Never felt lonely. Ever. And you would think somebody that felt lonely would say, Rob, I'm tired of feeling lonely, but People hang up to their stories. That's their story. They can't fathom that you can exist in your life without ever feeling lonely. Loneliness only exists because you believe it to be true. But who would you be if you no longer believe that? How would you feel? Imagine that. What would that be like? Never feeling lonely. Do you think it takes a person or an animal to keep you from feeling lonely? Really sit and think about that. That's what I'd say to them. What is the sensation of feeling lonely? What is that? Really, get to the root of it. Is it true? Is it really true? Or is it a belief? I've never felt envious of anybody. These are like the two things. I've never felt envy. Ever. I don't understand that. I wish more than anything my relatives and the people I love would win the $1 billion lottery. I wish it would happen. Not expecting anything from them. I know in that aspect of their life I don't need to be concerned about them. They're good to go. You know, despite the bad decisions they might make after a year or two of having it. Becoming an addict or just getting around bad people. Then I might get involved or not. I'm a serious person about not being serious. I find that more serious than anything because I know that if you believe it, it's true. And if you know it's true, then it is. Thoughts. Not spirituality. I'm not talking about that. The programming you have, the sensation of loneliness, a lot of it came from your programming. And there's no such thing as depression or anxiety. Oh my God, it pisses people off. Have I experienced it? I have, absolutely. But what I've learned to do a long time ago is study the thought of being depressed. What is this thought of depression? What is it? What is this thing? Why am I feeling this way? This heaviness here. Oh my God, fear. I'm not thinking of the thoughts that I'm having to get depressed. I'm focusing on this thing called depression, And that's all you have to do. And if you do that more often, versus the thought that's making you feel depressed or the event that's going on, right? Oh no, they repossessed my car. They're coming. Oh, they found it. Oh my God. How did that happen? Yeah. And actually, when they're taking the car, I feel relief. I'm like, what the heck was I all stressed about this for? For 3 months. It's gone. Well, decision made. Anxiety, same thing. And when I tell people it doesn't exist, it only exists because you actually believe it does. But really, anxiety and stress, depression, is the best voice in your body, universe, wherever it's coming from. When you had that experience, all it's saying to you, and this is what I believe and I know it to be true, if you think about it, it is. It's saying, uh-oh, you've gone delusional. You're not here anymore. You're in this thing. And you're going to surf it now like a tidal wave and see if it comes true. So you can say, see, I told you so. I told you so. Dark and evil things. Shrink it. Laugh at it. I've had things happen in my life, very dark, very scary. And it doesn't actually do anything to me, and I'm talking thoughts. And then you can literally turn it into a cartoon and just laugh at it. I think God has a sixth sense of humor. I do. Why can't you? I'm not talking psychopath type of thing. These people are mentally... It's just, don't take any of this seriously. All right. Oh, Oh, wow. Almost an hour. Wow. How did I end up here? I didn't see this coming. It's absolutely amazing. It's fantastic. And I don't know what's coming. I think that's very cool. You should too. Be up for the adventure, folks.